Right, good morning, everyone. I'll just wait for a while. And to start with, I ask you guys to find out the year of discovery of metals and their own extraction method. Okay, please prepare it. And while I'm waiting, I'd like to check the attendance first of all. There should be 37 students here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5. Number 5 missing. Let me see your name. Number 5. Where's number 5? 7, 8, 9, 10. Number 5. 陳俊軒 Not found 陳俊軒. How about the first lesson? Is 陳俊軒 here in the classroom? Monitor.
Yes.
Yeah? 5. Just wait for him. 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 22 is on here. So missing陳俊軒, class number 5. Missing him. All right. So we call your memory about our lesson. That should be on this. Yeah. So we come to this one, right? So we maybe refine, or the lesson is quite strange, or how come Mr. Jin tell you something about history, right? You talk about Stone Age, we talk about Copper Age, Bronze Age, here followed by Iron Age. And why we have that age is somewhat related to the wide use of the metals at that period. Okay, the evidence was found in antique. Okay, the antique that the people dig into the ground and try to find out some, maybe for example, broken pieces, broken container found underground, and they have the technique to date back, okay, the time of use of that. And such that they would come up with, okay, so that antiques were found, and it's believed that it is in Stone Age, it's in Bronze Age, etc. Okay, so and it is somewhat, I must tell you, it is somewhat related to chemistry indeed. Okay, in terms of technology, in terms of also availability. Now, and last time we would just talk about Stone Age, Copper Age, Bronze, Iron is it is related to the ease of extraction, as I said before. Ease of extraction as well as availability. Okay, and And the general rule of thumb is that those metals that are easily extracted were discovered earlier than that they are more difficult extracts. Okay, so this is what you may know about this. Now, let me see. All right, so my task last time is to find out something to have a relationship. I asked you guys to find out the following chemicals. Okay, listed here. It is there may be some problem with my pen. The pad I need to cross the rate. So it is related to those metals, just like sodium, aluminium, titanium. Silver, tin, gold, mercury, lead, and also potassium. So my task is to find out the year of discovery and the extraction method. Okay, how can we get that metal? Extraction method 提煉方法. So we have got that now together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Okay, we've got 9 different metals. So can you check for me which one would you would find it in a time BC? BC. Do you know what it means by BC? BC. You know what's that? You know it?
Yes.
Yeah. What does it mean by that?
係咪世紀嗰啲啊？前一個世紀。
Can you please elaborate more about there should be a short term of the wordings. Okay. We call that before. You know what's that?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, before Christ. What does it mean by before Christ? We are now having the year calculated from the birth of the Jesus, right? So that is before Christ, 公元前. So you use that term to tell. And
sorry, Mr. Chin, just now I had a stomach ache, so I went to the toilet.
Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, you just should be excused. Now, and tell me what elements they are found before Christ.
Silver.
Silver, yes. The year of it is about 4000 BC.
Mercury.
Mercury. The year, please. Mercury.
少於1500 BC.
Okay, less than 1500. So in order to want to make it in excess, it will be somewhat near 750 BC. Okay, Mercury. What else?
Copper.
Copper, good. Copper, you may find it what how many BC? Copper.
9,000 BC.
Oh, 9,000. 9,000, quite long time ago, copper. Also, I missed out the word copper here. 9,000 BC. 9,000. 1,000. Wow, so many years ago. What else?
Iron.
Iron. Iron. Oh, I missed out iron as well. So tell me the year.
3,500 BC.
Iron. 3,000 and 500 BC.
BC.
3,000. 3,000. Lead. Somebody say lead. Can you find me the year of discovery of lead? Yep. Somebody is now talking about in the chat box. Okay, gold. Yes, that's right. Gold. 700. 7 AU. AU 7,000 BC. 7,700. 700 or 7,000? Which is which? For gold, 700. 700, you mean? But I found the data it will be far more earlier. It is about 4,000 BC. Okay, for zinc, it is you may find it about a little bit earlier. Now you may find such. And what else? It's about 10. Yep, 3,000 BC. So lead a little bit longer. Lead is about 3,500 BC. So I just stop it here. So far we have got that. Okay. So there are so many different examples. Do you find? Can you find out some extraction method for to get those? Now, for example, if you want to get gold, we will say a type of physical method. Do you know what's that? 淘金. Okay, so why is gold panning can do? Because it's easily seen, right? And have you ever gone to some places where it claimed to be a gold mine before? So there will be a river, there will be some broken sands, broken stones. They ask you to give some money for them, okay? And they will give you a sieve, 一個篩啊. And so you may go to the river and then you just wash those stones, so sand in order to get that gold nugget. Of course, they will say that we have got gold nugget, but actually they will not. They will find out very, very tiny pieces. It seems like golden-like pieces, but I don't know whether it's gold. And indeed, that is correct. It is because of gold. Why is it like that? Why we will find it so early? It's because it exists as three elements. You know that metals, they exist as three elements. It is in shiny, golden appearance, right? A very beautiful appearance. So of course, people without any great technique, they would accidentally find it and they will use it. Okay, but wait a minute. Now, among those, I must tell you that this one is the most stable. It's nearly the most stable metal here. It's most stable metal here when you compare with the others. However, you may find copper, it may be discovered much earlier. Can you see that? Why? You may find that the year discovered is quite strange, right? Copper, I found it much earlier. Do you mean that copper can be easily found as free elements? The answer is not. It's not. For copper, it's found as a compound. So it is found by heating the ore strongly. So after heating the ore strongly, they would have what we call it as a type of decomposition. 分解. So you may know that 分解. So in particular, we call it as a reduction, 還原法啦. So the metal will be reduced back to that element 4. Okay, but why? The year is quite strange, right? This one, theoretically, according to technology wins over the others. That means copper should be discovered earlier, but how come it seems it's discovered later than copper? Why? As said before, you may find one more factor, right? It's not just the extraction method that may determine the year of discovery, but also one thing. Do you know what's that? Can you make a guess? Why is it found a little bit later than copper? Do you understand what I want to say? 知唔知我講咩？我話金啊，金應該穩定過銅㗎嘛，係咪？銅你話放耐咗有銅銹，會有綠色嘅嘢，金咧放耐咗都唔會變顏色嘅。
即係佢個純度越高，佢係咪個冇咁硬淨？
純度同硬淨，我哋研究緊咧。頭先你問題係問緊嗰個發現嘅年份嘅。頭先你講嘢係啱嘅，不過我就想問點解發現嘅年份會遲啲嘅？明明金係穩定啲咁，即係應該係，我見到一啲字啦，咩嚟㗎？ 咩叫 rarity 咩嚟㗎？
稀有性。
稀有性咩叫稀有性啊？即係話if you want to talk about in adjective, we call it rare 稀有。What's mean by rare? Which means the amount of this gold is less, okay? Less abundant, less abundant. 冇咁豐富嘅蘊藏量嘅。So of course, if it is it can explain well why it cannot be easily found. Okay, so you may do the something similar. So can you get my point? So it seems that the year of discovery of the metals it is not just dependent on the ease of extraction, but also the abundance of metals. Okay, so we call it availability. 即係容唔容易揾到啊？容唔容易揾到嘅係同多與少有關啦，係咪 ？So you may find something similar. So you may find for mercury is also found as a heating the ore alone strongly. So the mercury ore it is formed in terms of a cinnabar. Okay, have you ever heard of the word cinnabar? Let me see. Cinnabar, which means 一啲叫in Chinese in the past we call that 鶴頂紅. Have you ever seen that? 鶴頂紅. So we have got a red substances. While that red substances, that red stone is very funny, in which I heat it for some time, they will turn some liquid silvery pieces. Okay, so in the past, people do not know, especially the Chinese emperor in the past. So they want to live forever. Okay, so those Taoists, 啲道士啊, so they would tell them, I put that powder form to mix with some medicine. I heat it for 49 days. Okay, 7 times 7, 49 days. And finally, here comes a silvery ball and asks the Chinese emperor to eat it. Okay, so you know, the Chinese emperor in certain dynasty, they would eat toxic mercury. Wow. They will eat toxic mercury. So you know that mercury is no good to you. So, but at that time, people do not know. They will find that, wow, so mysterious. So Taoists, they are so powerful by turning some dull stones into shiny things.
仙丹
係啊，煉丹啊，煉丹啊，咁啊長生不老藥啊，煉丹咧術士，咁啊你以前個皇帝就傻豬嘅，唔知嘅，原來唔知道咧呢啲咁嘅粉咧加最熱之後咧變咗銀色，唔係道士嘅功勞。It's not the work of it's not the work how powerful the Taoists are. Instead, it is because they have found a ore. We call that a mercury ore. We call that cinnabar. Is this a toxic mercury sulfide ore? Okay, toxic to you and affects your nervous system. Okay, you know what's nervous system? The brain, right? To the hand, to the leg, we have got some spinal cord inside. We've got nerves. So once the mercury attack the nerves, they will lead you. Will have some mental deficit inside. Can you get my point? So this is what the scientists you know in the past. Very funny. And we come to this part again. So similarly for lead, I found it is because I heat the ore with carbon. Okay, and for iron, it will find it as heating the ore with carbon. And similarly as zinc. But the difference lies on the not only availability, but also the temperature, of heating. So it will require higher temperature for this. So you know that high temperature, you need high technique to make it happen. So you may find the zinc it is discovered a little bit later. Can you get a point? But for mercury, yeah, and you may find it. Some other things. Any questions so far? 我哋又揾到其他嘅咯。Try to see another examples. I used what color pen is better? It should be how about make it pink? I don't know where. Can you see that clearly, or I want to make it blue? Now, how about sodium? Sodium is found as 1807 AD. Okay, AD. You know what's mean by AD? You know what? 公元後啊，公元後 AD. So it is an abbreviation of the term. Do you know what's that? What is mean by AD? Anno Domini, it is a type of ANNODOMINI. So it is because which means after the birth of the Christ. 1807. How about aluminium? Aluminium, 1827 AD. Titanium, 1791 AD. While for potassium is 1807 AD. So what are they in common? Is that is their own extraction method. Do you know what's the extraction method about that? Wow, this is a more sophisticated method. We call that electrolysis of molten ore. Okay, so it's not just you may find that molten, right? So when you are going to heat the piece of ore, you may be raised up to 1000 degrees. Okay, so you may know that we need higher technology. But one more point I would like to get your address is on electrolysis. Okay, electrolysis, which means I use electricity to break down something. In order to have such technique, logically, we need first thing, the invention of electricity. Okay, so according to the human civilization history, the invention history, you know that the discovery of electricity is much later. Okay, we need to wait until the discovery of electricity. So that's why you may find some other elements, you may find it, is discovered later. And similarly for these, for mercury is heating the ore strongly, while for tin, it is you are going to heat it, the ore with carbon strongly, etc. So you may find, what conclusion do you find about this? Again, the year of discovery of the metals, okay, is related to the difference in the extraction method, right? What is different about the extraction method? You need different techniques. Some of them they should be easy to extract, while some of them is not. Okay, so in short, you may see that it is related to the ease of extraction of metals. Okay, so remember the year of discovery of the metal, it is somewhat related by the two things. One is the ease of extraction of the metal, and the other one I've just mentioned with you, we call that availability of metal. Okay, availability of metals. Can you get the point? The whole logic will be here. Is that clear? Now, don't worry too much about memorizing all those, which should match with Mitch. Don't worry, I will not ask you such. But but we need to be scientists, love to seek for pattern. Okay, so this is what you have to do. Based on so many information, you have to give me the pattern. Is that clear? Now, of course, while you get promoted in Form 4, sometimes you need to memorize some of the metal and some of the extraction method. Okay, you try to make a matching of those, but you know it in Form 4. Any questions so far? Now, don't worry, I will capture this screen, okay, this whiteboard later and give it back to you, this one. 有冇嘢問先？ 呢兩樣嘢講得好清楚啊嘛？得啦。So we come to this. You may find that, for example, if you want to relate to the human history, copper or iron, which one is more easily to extract? The answer is simple. It's copper. Okay, why? Because from a year, I know that it's discovered earlier than iron. Okay, while for iron, I would like to extract it by different methods. Now, this time, I would like to introduce to you the different ease of extraction in terms of technology, different methods. So, how do metals occur in nature? Now, this map I've just shown you before. Okay, you may know it is the relative abundance in the Earth crust. So, the most abundant metal is aluminium, and then iron. But aluminium, while you find its most abundant metal, is not discovered so early. Okay, it's not discovered so early. It's because of the fact that you are going to use more challenging, more difficult extraction method to get, while the people in the past do not have such technology. So of course they cannot find it so early. Okay, but for iron, they have the techniques to extract it. Well, the technique is much easier to have. So of course, the extraction of iron is earlier. Now, even though iron is less abundant than aluminium, okay, it's more rare than that. Okay, can you get the point? So we would call that rocks and a soil that contain metal ore. We call it metal ores. Okay, 一啲金屬嘅礦物。In nature, most of the metal exists as compounds. So very, very strange solid. Okay, stones. Even though you walk around on the street and find some stones, the stones inside may contain some metal, right? But it is in compound form. But only a few metals, just like gold, platinum, they exist as free elements. Now, which means that if you found that in the free elements, which means that in the rocks, is already having golden yellow color or silvery color, which is the same as the pure gold. Now remember, the one on the left-hand side is somewhat made by human, right? The purified by human. You need some extraction method and then purification. 有啲純化嘅過程 such that we can find 999 gold. But for these rocks, you may find that the gold is just in the outside, while the inside is not gold. Can you see that? It's some white solid. So you may find it is still a mixture. Okay, so we call it extraction, which means that you are going to kick away those impurities and hold that pure part, and we try to further melt it and put it into the mold, just like this one, such that you may find so many golden bars. But if we would want to talk about some other elements, just like aluminium, now sorry, the aluminium is found in that stone. Now take a look on the color with the pure aluminium. What is the difference? Very dull, right? Very dull color. It seems the rocks, the stones, doesn't seem like metal containing, right? But after extraction, you may get somewhat silvery. Why? It's because of the different materials found inside. This is it is a compound. The metal compound, it is totally different from this one. Aluminium is a type of element. So of course, the property is different in terms of appearance. Okay, aluminium is somewhat silvery, while for that one, similarly, you may see in the middle frame. While for the rocks, it is just a very dull solid. Okay, is that clear? So of course, the extraction method, you are going to extract it. How about this? Chalcopyrite, what is that? We call that 黃銅礦. Now, bauxite, we call that 鋁土礦. I must tell you the name in Chinese first of all. You may copy it down. This one, 鋁土礦. 礦with a set, okay, as a part of the Chinese character. 礦物, 鋁土礦. Okay, while for the next one, 鋁土礦. Okay, while for next one, we call that this chalcopyrite, we call it 黃銅礦. So why is it that 黃銅礦? Of course, from the color. The color is very beautiful, a little bit shiny, but don't be fooled about this, right? It seems like gold, right? Don't be fooled about this. We call that fool's gold. Okay? Those stupid people, we treat it as a gold. So we call it fool's gold in the past. Okay? So, but very strange is that this one is the copper iron sulfur compound. Can you see that? Copper iron sulfide. We call it copper. We've got iron, we've got sulfur compound. They merge it like this, and you are going to go back to copper. It is an element form by using some extraction method. Okay, I do some extraction. 提煉. Okay, can you get a point? And I would like to show you this one. The other one is hematite. Hematite, what is that? Hematite, we call that 赤鐵礦. So you may know the term in Chinese and you can get what I mean. 赤, something red. So indeed it is a reddish brown. Now the photo is a little bit too bright to be seen as reddish brown. And it is fun. You can also found this in Ma'anshan. Do you know that? In the past, several years ago, so many years ago, Ma'anshan, we have got some iron mine there. You know that people in the past, they would go there and dig it underground to get the iron ore. Okay. While the iron is somewhat gray, silvery gray materials. So again, you may find that other compound made up of iron and also oxygen. Now, what do you know about the metal ore? They're in form of oxide, they're in form of sulfide. Can you see that? There are two common type compound. They are in terms of oxide, 氧化物. It can also in a form of sulfide, 硫化物. So okay, so you may find the compound in their ore. Many metals, but only a few metals exist as free elements. Can you give me some examples? I just mentioned gold as well as platinum, right? Do you still remember that too? Gold and platinum. While the gold and platinum is said to be very stable. Now, while you go to the jewelry shop, you will not just sell gold and platinum. We call that what? You can also sell some metal, just like silver, right? But for silver, do you have an experience of wearing the silver necklace while somebody will have some dull appearance of the necklace after wearing for some time? You know it. Do you know why? 有冇人試過戴銀嘅頸鏈咧？戴下會啞色咗啊！呢邊咁兜。Why? Do you know why? It's because of some sweat. Okay, some sweats they will contain sulfur. While the sulfur they would react with the iron and with the sulfur to form a compound. We call that silver sulfide. While it is somewhat a gray materials. Okay, so it depends on human. It's not a matter of luck, I must tell. Somebody will claim that people would have bad luck, will wear this and they will have some somewhat alternative to black, something like that. But of course, it's not that. It can be explained by science. Okay, it can be explained by science. So somebody will have got sweat full of sulfur and they would react with the sulfur to form some gray substances. The content of sweat depends on human, different human. Okay, you know it. Now, today, in the coming maybe about 20 minutes more to go, we would like to give you some example of extraction method. The metal can be extracted from its ore. The process of extraction depends on the form of the elemental compounds in the ore. So that's why different extraction method is said to be. Some of them they are easy, some of them they are difficult. In general, there are two types of it. We call it physical method and chemical method. 又嚟呢兩隻字. So can you make a guess? What is the difference between that two? Physical method, chemical method. What does it mean by that? Which one is easier?
Physical.
Yep, physical, because I would use the eyes for help, okay, and I use some simple techniques. And you could help. But of course, chemical method, it will make a more difficult techniques. So what is mean by techniques being easy or difficult? Okay, is by the something what they call it as a chemical change. You need some chemical reactions to make it. So we call it chemical method. Now, for the process in which we do not need to have chemical change, we call that physical method. Do you understand? Now, so let's try to take a look one by one for the example. Physical method, just like this one, gold panning. Okay, gold panning. It is for some metal just like gold. Okay, because gold can be easily seen by your eyes and you can easily pick up by observation. So the way is, as I just said to you before, I crush the gold ores into small pieces and I place it into flowing water. And because of the density, they are different. Okay, so we would use that very strange action, right? We throw some water there and I ask people to rinse it like this, right? While you rinse it, you would have some chances of having those solid resettle in different position. For those who have lower density, they will nearly settle on the above of the sediment. Okay, of course not floating. 嗱，你冇諗住浮喺面嗰啲啊，咁錯啊！浮喺面嗰啲可能係咩啊？葉啊、樹皮啊呢啲嘅啫。但係我講緊咩咧？就係你哋嗰個固體咧，原來嗰堆固體好得意啊，因為佢哋入邊密度唔一樣。Because of density, they are different. While you do that action, it seems like liquid, right? So they will have a concept of floating and sinking. But remember, all those within the solid layer. 全部都喺嗰個沉積物嗰度，佢哋啲固體同埋佢哋唔同嘅固體因着唔同嘅密度咧，就會升高啲或者沉低啲。咁但係所謂升高啲，佢唔會去到水面㗎嚇，因為佢同水比，佢密度都係高。咁由如是者咧，佢哋就會有一啲嘅嘢咧，就會走晒出嚟㗎，例如係沙啊、石頭啊，which are less dense, they would just nearly found on the surface of the sediment, and you can wash it away. While the denser pieces of gold they are left, and they would stay in the far more bottom of the sediment. Sediment, do you still remember the term in Form 1? 一啲沉積物啊，沉到最底嗰啲就係金啦。But of course, how will you know? There may be, you may argue, there may be some other materials. Okay, don't worry, you can judge by your eyes. Right? You can judge by your eyes. You can just take a look and see that golden, and you pick it, and you place it again into the one big container, and try to have a purification later on. Can you get a point? So we will call that action a very funny action. We call that gold panning. 淘金啊，就係咁啦。原來淘金個淘字係咩嚟㗎？即係三點水㗎嘛，就係攞啲嘢喺度熬下，意思就叫淘啦。So, but you know that the technique is easy. How about that? Chemical method, they are said to be quite difficult. Okay, how difficult it is. So they would exist naturally. We are now dealing with the metals exist naturally in the form of compound. So we can extract those metals by using chemical method, just like this. Iron can be used in blast furnace, 鼓風爐。 So what is that inside? 鼓風爐 it is in terms of very high temperature and so high that is about 700 to about 1000 degrees Celsius inside. So we added some carbon. Okay, so we add some carbon to the iron ore. Now Fe2O3 is iron ore and try to heat it. And finally, what will happen? They will form iron. Because of iron is quite hot inside, they will melt and they will flow down like this. Okay, and you can get some pure iron here. They will run the orange liquid. Okay, how about the other chemical? How about carbon? The carbon, because it's too high temperature, they will be burned to form what? You can make a gas. Now, based on this, you can make a gas. Iron here remaining, it should be what is left behind. Carbon and oxygen, right? So we will form CO2. So what happened to CO2? They will go away, right? On top, they will leave away. Can you get the point? So it is the way to produce the iron, right, from the hematite, the iron ore. How about bauxite? Bauxite is somewhat more difficult. You are going to melt the ore and do electrolysis. Okay, melt the ore to do electrolysis. Okay, so of course you may see some orange liquid that come out. It is what is a molten metal, but inside the ore here, that may be we need some electricity to help to separate those two types of elements. One of them is oxygen, the other one is aluminium. Now I would like to show you one, this one, electrolysis of molten aluminium oxide. So this is the one. So the principle will be something like this. Now, for those who want to study chemistry, right, or maybe struggle against if you choose chemistry or not, you may see that diagram and try to see if you understand. Can you see it on the right-hand side? Can you see on the right-hand side? So this is the diagram. And the principle is that, except before we've got the aluminium oxide, Al3 plus aluminium ion, O2 minus is oxide ion. So inside that they are, once I melt it, they are freely moving. So once I connect to electricity, they will, of course, we have got two electrode. One is positive electrode, one is negative electrode. What happens to the negative electrode? What will they attract? Of course, they will attract somewhat positive. The positive particle, they will attract towards it. While the positive electrode, they will attract somewhat negative. So we have got that directional movement. And finally, you may see the blue one. Can you see that the blue one? We call it electrons. While electrons meets the aluminium ion, what will happen? They would combine, they will combine to form aluminium metal. So they will go out, they will leave it as aluminium metal. Because the temperature is too high, they will sink at the bottom, and I open the tap light, and they will go here. Okay. Okay, we'll do it like this way. How about oxygen? Once oxide, they will move it here, they will lose their electrons. Now remember, oxide ions, they are formed simply because they have already gained 2 electrons. Okay, so this time they lose the electrons, so they would have the free oxygen atom. They will combine the two to form O2 and leave. 知唔知道講緊咩啊？左手邊鋁離子原本甩咗3粒電子嘅，跟住點啊？就佢因為係正離子嚟噶嘛，咁就俾咗負極黐咗埋去。咁電解嘅係講緊咩咧？就俾嗰啲電子，有啲係俾電子，有啲係甩電子嘅。左手邊係俾電子佢嘅。俾電子佢之後咧，明明甩咗嘅電子咧，佢而家食翻啦，食翻咁樣點啊？佢唔係叫 aluminium ion 啦，佢變翻做 aluminium。咁咪因為佢溶啦好熱啦，佢溶啦沉底，咁喺下邊度好似開水喉咁開翻出嚟嘅。But on the right hand side, what is different？ 就係 oxide 啦 ，oxide 咧就係嗰兩粒見到二負啊，咩意思啊？就吸咗兩粒電子啦。咁而家咧當佢受住正極嘅吸引黐咗埋去之後，咁點咧？就甩電子，甩翻啲電子出嚟。咁甩咗之後咧，就變咗單丁 O 喎。單丁 O 咧唔穩定，佢會拍拖嘅，佢哋中意。 就兩個 O 黐埋咧變成 O2， 咁就離開啦。明唔明啊？咁呢個咧就係我哋所講嘅電解嘅流程啦。嗱，聽起上嚟好似好複雜咁，但係其實原來有啲嘢都話俾大家聽咩咧？原來化學嘅分解啦嚇，需要一啲即係唔同嘅方法嘅嚇。今次呢個咧就難度高啲啦，因為我要有電嘅概念先啦。第二就係我要整容佢，要幾熱啊？過千度嘅，得唔得先？呢度明唔明？So you know that when you compare with gold panning, you know the difference, whether different is. But this one is more difficult. Do you understand? 有冇嘢問？冇啦。So you know that for iron can be extracted by heating its oxide with carbon. In fact, it's a common method to extract other metal, just like zinc, lead, copper also. You can also use heating the ore with carbon. And you may have, sorry to say that we cannot try this experiment, but you may see the way to produce that. Let me show you. So the way to produce that one is simple. It's very simple. Please take a look. 聽唔聽到啊？啱，你留意下嗰個音響。
In this experiment,
聽到啦。
you are going to extract copper from its oxide using carbon. Wear safety goggles throughout the experiment. Keep the laboratory well ventilated. Your teacher will provide you with copper oxide. Observe and record its color in a table.
So what is the color of copper 2 oxide? Now you mark it in the table. What is the color? Color of copper 2 oxide is somewhat black. Okay, all of you please mark it. It's a black materials.
Add 2 spatulas of copper oxide. And 2 spatulas of carbon powder to a crucible. Mix these 2 substances with a glass rod. Partly cover the crucible with a lid. Put the crucible on a pipe clay triangle.
Now, can you see that a very strange material? Besides using a tripod, you will use we call it a pipe clay triangle. 咁呢度有個三角形嘅。咁咧，我哋喺平時做實驗咧，我哋唔係咁畫嘅，我哋唔係咁做嘅。我將個三角形咧，好似即係嗰啲結界咁咧，我咁樣放嘅，我唔會用咁樣方法放。咁樣方法放嘅唔好處咧，就係即係點講啊？即係我哋咁樣噶嘛。原本個 pipe 嗰個 pipe tripod 係咁啊 ，pipe triangle 咧，我哋嘅方法咧就同佢唔一樣，因為佢個方法咧，佢會容易冧啊。我哋咧就會調翻轉嘅，我哋會咁樣即係結界咁樣三嚿嘢咁樣喺度拼。因為咧，我哋咧就用呢一個位撳住佢，咁啊等佢唔跌。但係咧，如果用佢嘅方法咧，就會佢掂嘅地方得呢三隻角啊嘛，而佢距離遠啊嘛，咁會點咧？就係我呢度放嘅夠重咧，佢成個就會墜咗落去嘅。咁我哋用呢個方法咧就冇咁墜嘅，因為佢距離個點咧近啲啊。OK， 咁我 support 好少少。
睇唔到個 screen 我哋。
係。
The mixture to cool down for about 5 minutes.
睇到啦。
我哋去翻頭先嗰度啦。啱啱佢就話要加熱嘅。
Turn off the Bunsen burner and allow the mixture to cool down for about 5 minutes. Use a pair of tongs to remove the lid of the crucible. Place the crucible on a heat-proof mat. Do not touch the crucible or the lid as they are very hot.
嗱，我哋真正做咧個蓋咧唔好咁快拎出嚟住嘅，一定要凍咗先掀開個蓋。個原因有冇人知啊？點解熱嗰陣時掀開蓋唔好嘅？點解要凍先掀開啊？唔係安全問題啊，係個實驗效果嘅問題。
oxygen
會點㗎？咩 oxygen 啊？會有咩問題啊？如果太熱嘅話會點㗎？但係如果太熱，佢可能還原咗做金屬㗎咯喎。但係啲金屬咁熱嘅話會點咧？打開個蓋同oxygen有關嘅，嗰啲空氣咧就會再次同咗啲金屬咧會有化學反應，就變翻氧化物。簡單啲嚟講就係咩咧？冇做過嘢，係嘛？明明你想還原翻做金屬，但係咧原來趁熱嗰陣時咧就氧化翻啦。嗱，所以係盞搞嘅啫，記住啊，係凍咗先見翻開個蓋嘅我哋。
Examine the residue in the crucible. After heating, some shiny reddish-brown substance appears in the residue. What do you think this substance is? In fact, it is metal copper, extracted from the copper oxide.
得唔得啊？咁呢個就係原來好簡單啫喎，我就係將成個實驗咧點樣做咧，我哋就要將in the crucible I mix copper oxide and carbon powder and I place it into the 嗱，見唔見到啊？呢幅圖嗰個 video 有問題，你見唔見到啊？ So we call it pipette triangle. I place it like this way. Okay, while the triangle should be not in the same direction. Okay. And later on, I heat it for some time, and afterwards let it cool down. Okay, and then remove the lid of the crucible. 嗱，哇，完全唔得啊！嗰段片，你見唔見到啊？同個 steps 係唔一樣噶，見唔見到啊？咁你跟翻書啦，係啊，呢個好差喎，段片好差，完全唔一樣，見唔見到啊？係 turn off the heat Bunsen burner， 跟住 use a pair of tongs remove the lid 喎。cool down 咗先，跟住 remove 喎，咁唔啱啦。So you may find those 有冇人話到俾我聽啦？跟住識唔識答啊？呢啲The color of the copper oxide should be what?
Black.
Black, yes. Any new substance? What is the color of the new substance? You said it as reddish brown. Okay. So what is that? It is copper. Okay, it's copper. So it's copper. So based on the color of the new substance, you know it's copper, and you know that copper is extracted from copper oxide. 我哋學化學方程式咧，即係我哋要學一啲化學反應，好中意寫呢啲嘢嘅，係嘛？ What is that? We call that a type of equation. Yep, a equation 方程式。It tells you the combination of metal. Now, for example, on the left-hand side, we call that reactant, 反應物。So what will you see is the metal oxide react with carbon. Now, remember heating. Heating is very important. Without heating, it's just a mixture. But I heat it, some chemical change occur. So they will form metal plus carbon dioxide. So it seems that carbon, you say that carbon can reduce the metal oxide back to metal. And carbon is oxidized. It seems like they fight against the oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So can you get the point? So this is what you may know about this one. Okay, but remember, not all metals can use this type of method. 唔係所有金屬都可以用到呢個方法㗎嚇。咁啊，頭先我哋講咗邊幾個金屬係可以咁樣做啊？記唔記得 ？Copper 2 oxide 可以變 copper 啦 ，lead 啦 ，iron 啦，仲有咧，記唔記到啊？ copper 啦、lead 啦、iron 啦、zinc 啦，嗱呢啲咧，佢哋咧都可以用呢個方法得嘅，得唔得？咁 但係如果你講緊係第二種方法啦，例如係話銀啦，mercury 嘅話咧，用咩方法？我哋就用好簡單啫，就 heating the ore alone， 就咁將啲礦物加熱就得啦。咁我嗌呢個咧就叫做 heating the ore with carbon。嗱，呢啲咁嘅技術咧，其實幾時至發現到嘅咧？其實全部都係啲 accident 嚟㗎。上次有冇同你講過？都係 accident 嚟㗎，就係做啲咩啊？將啲石頭攞嚟整個爐頭，跟住點啊？揾啲木，攞啲柴枝走嚟燒，係咪啊？咁燒下就燒到越嚟越熱啦嚇，熱到咁上下始終個爐都會熄一熄㗎嘛。咁你熄咗嗰陣時咧，啲人就發現咗喺個爐個底嗰度咧，就發現過呢啲好似類啲銀閃靈靈嘅嘢走咗出嚟啦。咁當時碳佢哋有冇加落去㗎？佢冇喎，加啲木啫喎。咁啲碳點樣加㗎？就係啲木入面有碳咯，得唔得？咁所以呢個咧，其實點解就話係一個 accident 咧？就係咩啊？
木裏面係有碳㗎，OK。
係啊，木入面有碳嘅成分㗎，咁所以咧佢唔知啊，佢就傻更更咁咧就走嚟加熱，但係我唔知道原來佢做咗好勁嘅叫做技術，就係我就係還原咯，還原咗嗰啲金屬嘅礦物啦，嗰啲石頭咧金屬嘅礦物咧變翻做我哋所講嘅金屬嘅。嗱，但係咧頭先我講有其他奇怪嘅金屬啊，例如 K 啊、Na 啊。呢啲Aluminium 啊，呢啲等等咧，嗱唔好意思啦，呢啲咧好麻煩嘅，我哋咧就要用一啲叫做 Electrolysis of molten ore。咁技術層面係要點㗎？難啲啊，因為首先要咩啊？發現電啊，箭可以做電解嘅。第二要溶晒嗰啲礦物，頭先我講咗啦，溶晒礦物要幾多度啊？要過1000度，好貴好勁㗎嚇。咁所以咧，你會種種嘅原因啦，話俾你聽咧，我哋用嘅金屬提煉方法咧係唔一樣嘅。咁正就係因為金屬提煉方法唔一樣啦，再加上佢哋容唔容易揾得到嘅因素啦，就會影響緊啲咩咧？就幾時發現嘅年份嘅。咁所以咧，我哋回顧翻啦，頭先咪講咗噏咗好多啲唔同嘅一啲即係年份嘅，係咪？記唔記得我哋頭先講過咩年份啊？我哋由第一課啱啱第一版開始講起嘅嗰啲咩 H 咩 H 咩 H， 可唔可以解釋得到點解會咁樣嘅咧？我哋再睇翻次個 H 喎，一開始係 Stone Age， 依家唔係一開始係 Copper Age 嘅。喂，啲人都唔識提煉，唔識生火，係咪啊？佢哋開始用識生火嗰陣時，就開始生火之後咧，佔有一啲同金屬有關嘅嘢嘅。所以一開始係石器時代、銅器時代。咁點啊？點解會銅器個時代發現咗先嘅？發現咗個鐵嘅，因為銅係容易啲提取嘅，溫度比較低啲就得㗎啦。跟住咧喺銅同埋鐵器時代中間發生咩事咧？就出現咗青銅啊，青銅年代。咁啊點整青銅啊？嗱，銅同埋石咧呢兩隻金屬咧，亦都係容易提煉嘅，比鐵容易提煉嘅。咁所以咧，佢哋亦都係咧，係不知不覺之間咧，佢哋係 by accident 咧撈咗呢兩隻嘢嘅。咁撈咗之後咧，就發覺點咧？好用啲。嗱，人咧冇乜嘢好諗嘅啫，就係諗方便嘅啫嘛，諗好用就得咯咁樣。咁所以咧，佢就唔覺咧，將我哋嗰個技術層面咧再提高啦，直至到去到鐵啦。鐵嘅話就去到500個 BC 啊。咁即係你會發覺個提煉技術咧再難啲啦。不過整咗之後咧，大家就發覺哇，仲好過銅添，同埋多啲添，平啲嘅。OK，咁有冇發覺點解冇 Gold Age 嘅？點解冇 Silver Age 嘅？點解冇 Platinum Age 嘅？
因為太稀有。
太稀有啊！咁嗰啲金屬俾咗俾邊個咧？皇帝啊！所以咧，我哋冇廣泛使用到嘅。嗱，所以我哋唔會有金嘅時代、銀嘅時代，冇白金嘅時代嘅。但係佢哋係早揾到嘅。得唔得？明唔明白 ？OK， 我哋今日咧，原來大家又講咗 history 啦，講咗啲 chemistry 啦。問一問同學啦，喺 chat box 度話翻俾我聽。OK，from 0 to 10， what is the level of understanding? You understand so well? 10? Not so easy understood. It's just 0. Tell me。喺個 chat box 度打翻俾我。 嗱，咁下堂會做啲乜嘢咧？我哋下堂咧會講多啲金屬嘅唔係講提煉咯，金屬嘅用途啊嚇。咁所以咧，我轉頭咧就將一啲要你揾嘅金屬咧就掉上網，咁就要你去揾翻俾我。不鏽鋼係一啲叫做合金嚟嘅 alloy 嚟嘅合金 mixture 嚟嘅，咁即係同 bronze 一樣 ，bronze 即係 bronze 同埋 stainless steel 咧喺元素周期表入邊啦揾唔到噶，係啦，得意嘢嚟嘅，揾唔到嘅。咁咩嚟嘅咧？係一個混合物嚟嘅。咁啊，遲下再同大家講。我哋講咗淨係金屬先 ，OK？ quite nice. We find it about 7 to 8 level understanding. Okay, I would like to stop it here first of all. Okay, we'll see you guys day 5, day 6. I forgot in the next lesson. Okay. Any more questions before you leave? No. Bye bye.